Hello, welcome to another episode of AXIOM TV. I am your host, Jason V. Sarib. Today I want to address a very serious topic. Not that any other topic that we address here at AXIOM TV is not a serious topic, but this one I think is quite revealing about human nature, about how you and I actually think, and it almost in a way explains much of our behavior. For a long time, at least 5 years now, I went about trying to realize what was the cause for my own um, pathology, my own behavior, the things that were detrimental to me. I wondered to myself, why did I seem to be stuck in this cycle, this self-destructive cycle? And it's not until I took an honest self-assessment of myself, an honest self-evaluation of myself, that I realized that not only first I had to make the admission that it was my fault for why I was acting the way I was, but I realized what I was doing. I was consciously making bad decisions, and it seemed like I was addicted to doing so. And it's once I made that, once I was honest with myself, is when all of a sudden the scales fell off my eyes, if you will, to use a religious reference. I started looking around at everyone else around me and realized that everyone seemed to be behaving in a way throughout their day-to-day lives in a pathological manner. Please excuse the gender biased word in manner. In a pathological way. I realized that no matter who I was looking towards, whether they were considered as prestigious or elite or lower class within society, that we were all fanatics for something. We were all fans of something. Even the celebrities themselves, even the political figures that were the object of our affinities. I realized that they themselves were also fanatics towards something. And allow me to elaborate. Recently, former Facebook president Sean Parker came out, and the headline was that he sounds the alarm that Facebook was designed to be addictive. In fact, he said that all the most popular social media platforms are designed to be addictive. Now, many of us, but even before he admitted this, many of us have heard about this, that social media is a social experiment. And notice that's what they say about America, that the United States is an experiment. I found that interesting, that about the word choice. Pay attention to word choices when people speak. That's the most revealing. That'll get you closer to the truth when you're trying to find the objective truth in life. And I took notice of that myself, not only in my own interaction with social media when I first got on to signed up to be a member of a social media platform. I think it was MySpace. Then came Yahoo Messenger, or Yahoo period, and then came I want to say Facebook after that. Yeah, Facebook, Snapchat. I haven't gone on Instagram yet. Don't ask me why. That's my way of telling myself that I'm not as bad as everyone else. That's my way of, if I could be honest with you, which is what I like our interactions to be. I'd like to start establishing a new standard for communication within society, is honest interaction, directly honest. That's the reason why I think our language needs to be the empty calories in our language needs to be removed. I believe our language even needs to be recalibrated or redone to be more to nourish and promote and establish a more honest communication between each other. But that aside, what former Facebook President Sean Parker's admission, what came striking is that this was actually someone from the inside of the social media world actually admitting, basically blowing the whistle about what the intent of the sites were, of these platforms were. And the intent was a malicious one. He goes on to say that all the most popular social media sites were designed to be addictive. He said it takes advantage of it's exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology, in our psychology. Social, what he referred to as a social validation feedback loop. Now, it's not just in the Western world you see this. You'll see fanaticism in everyone throughout the world, in all human beings. And as I go through this, you'll get a better sense of why this is. Now, what Mr. Parker's admission revealed is that they knew, the designers and owners of these companies knew that the social media platforms would be addictive. Their aim was to take up as much of our time, or in his words, consume as much of our time as possible. Yet they made the conscious decision to launch these products anyway. This makes him and others who own and run these social media companies no different than the pharmaceutical companies who contribute to the opioid crisis. They are no different than the people who own and run gambling establishments, knowing that these products are designed to be addictive to its purveyors and those who decide to use the people who decide to frequent these let's call them establishments or products. What we shouldn't give Mr. Parker too much credit, though, because while I do give him credit, we still shouldn't give him too much credit, because it is a self-serving admission. Notice he didn't admit this while he was the currently president of Facebook. He did this afterwards, which is also self-serving. He announced this news sometime after being president, out of his own guilt. The man is guilt-ridden. His admission would have been much more sincere had he done it while working at Facebook. Nevertheless, his admission is important. On its face, it seems egregious, and it is. In many ways, it is. But allow me to explain why it is not his or any other social media mogul's fault for doing so, for doing what they do and doing what they did. Because human beings are innately predisposed to become addicted to things. It actually makes sense that our ambitions include designing and producing products that are purposed to be addictive. All entertainment products are designed to do this, even from religion all the way to the news media. Notice, if you notice about the news, and this has been a complaint about the news for some time, but now we know the reasoning behind it. The news focuses on delivering us content that captures our attention more so than making us well informed. The purpose of the news is not to only inform us on information. Remember, these are businesses in a capitalistic country, or and a predatory capitalistic one at that, meaning that their ultimate purpose is to make money. So they are not delivering to us products that are going to make us well educated. They're delivering to us products. They're not delivering to us products that are content that is meaningful, ultimately meaningful, but content that is entertaining. This is the reason why we get constantly fed news about the president, constantly fed wars and all types of horrible news, salacious news. This is the reason why gossip magazines or gossip sites, platforms dominate the way they do. Even if you notice with many of these sites that claim that they're independent sites, which means they're not, untraditional media, new media, even they focus on stories, presenting you stories that are going to grab your attention. That's the reason why you see their titles of you get the titles of movies and the titles of these websites to grab your attention. They'll use words such as this person destroyed the other one or annihilated, things that they know will not only alarm us but grab our attention. They're all taking advantage of a psychological vulnerability that exists within all of us, and that vulnerability is addiction. Now, not just the news and religion, but all entertainment products are designed to do this. Even the religion, sorry, I messed up in my script there. Pardon me. Okay, now I found my place. All of these products are competing for our attention. And it's not just in entertainment. Marketing / advertising is not innocent in this revelation as well. They're attempting to get you addicted to whatever product they are promoting. This is my issue with patriotism and culture, what we perceive as culture. Patriotism and culture are designed to be addictive as well. This is why racism appears to be a social issue, even though it is clearly an economic issue. It benefits those that promote it financially more than anything. It might be a social comfort blanket for them, but in the end, racism, the discrimination and oppression of earth tone people within the Western world or throughout the human society is $1 trillion, more than $1 trillion, a multi-trillion dollar business. This is the reason why it perpetuates. It's not because white people innately dislike black people. This is why we get fed such nonsense as tribalism is instinctual, when clearly, how is that possible to form a multiracial society if that was the case? Shouldn't we be all constantly being violently at each other? How come kids at daycare of multiple races don't kill each other or hurt each other constantly, or are looking to hurt each other constantly at daycares when they're together for long periods of time? You see what I'm saying? It's all a self-serving propaganda. But that part aside, racism aside, all of these things, including sports, the NFL is guilty of this, the NBA, all marketing, all products, all popular products are guilty of this. Hollywood, etc. The entertainment industry, period, and any popular products that you can think of are guilty of this. They are all exploiting the same vulnerability in human psychology. And what is this vulnerability? Our vulnerability whether you realize it or not, and most of us do not realize it, is a propensity for addiction. We are born to be addicts. You do not necessarily have to be born addicted to drugs or addicted to alcohol. We are just born with a proclivity to desire something to be addicted to. That's the reason how we are predisposed as habitual creatures. This is how we establish thinking. This is how we establish doing our actions at all. We form these loops in our mind of learning how to do something. We see something that we want to do, and then we learn how to do them. That is how we end up being able to become proficient at it, such as speaking or walking, even moving our appendages. These are all things that it is through habit, which is just another word, nomenclature for addiction. These are all a product of that. We develop habits, compulsory loops, and even the good habits are addictions. A habit, any habit, is an addiction. So what I realize is, remember, I assert that life is ultimately a game being played upon us. Life experience is a game that we are being coerced to play. Remember, it is not your choice to be born. It is not your choice to the fact that you're going to die. It is not even your choice to keep yourself alive. Your immune system, all of those things are involuntary. Your immune system is involuntary. It keeps you alive, not you consciously keeping you alive. The only thing you could consciously do is decide to commit suicide. But in actual staying alive or being alive, that is an involuntary outcome. You have no choice in that matter. In fact, today I posted on my Facebook account that we are ultimately, I'll tell you exactly what I said that will shed a little more light on this issue. I said I am fully conscious, and I said this based on an inspirational quote from my good friend Adam Stuck, also known as A.Mind, in which he told me that because life is opposites, that we are within a consciousness, the great consciousness, and that makes the rest of us unconscious, all life forms unconscious. And I realized what he said. It's only once you get an understanding that life is a game that you can understand these things. But I'll even elaborate further for you, for those of you who aren't up to date yet completely on this. I stated that I am fully conscious that as long as I am mortal, I am ultimately unconscious. The reason for this is due to the fact that our consciouses are a product of our subconscious. We love to try to divide the two and say, oh, there's a subconscious that produces our automated functions, our automated thoughts and ideas and our instincts. But what we do not realize is even our conscious is a product that is automated. We do not will ourselves to have a conscious. Nature gave us all these things. We are predisposed to have these things. This is why I say that life is ultimately a game. Now, what I realize ultimately our purpose is in life. This is the reason why life has meaning. Because that is the reason why, if you think to yourself, why would life be like this? Why would life experience be like this? Why would we be made predisposed to be addicts and be addicted to things? It is because there is a purpose to it. Our job then, as we go through life, is to choose remember, in choice we are to make the best decisions. That's the reason why there's a right way to do things, which are solutions, and there are wrong ways to do things, which are problems and result in consequences, while the right way to do things results in reward and progress and development. So our job innately then, or ultimately then, as we go through life, is to choose the best addictions, the best habits to not only form, but to adopt, to take us through our journey. I do not see each individual, though we are individual members of society, we should ultimately realize that as though we are individuals, we're also individual members of a social species. We are all in this together. We are all on the planet Earth and in life experience together, which is why we are innately equal, as well as different as well. But each life form is innately equal because we are each equally a component within life experience. We all have to go through the same thing. And this is not anyone's fault. This is an outcome or the will of nature. Nature made us this way. Now, if you have a brave mind, one day you will confront the question of why. And that will lead you to the end result, what I came to, of that life is ultimately a game. It is not just a simulation. That's just a way of trying to soften it for you to be able to take what really life is about. Nature is playing a game with us. And in fact, it goes even deeper than that, but I'll expand on that on another video. But in the end, the point to this video is that we are all addicts. Just become conscious of your own behavior and you will realize this. Sorry if it was a little choppy. Sometimes I'm not the smoothest, but I try to make sure that I bring you the most meaningful truths that I observe in life, that can be observed in life, to demonstrate to you that you can realize these things for yourself. It's not about being the most popular and getting the most views and whatever else that people are judging each other on. These are all things that we are fanatics for. The truth, if you notice, this is another reason I can prove that life is a game. If you notice, ultimately the truth is almost incommunicable, while stupidity and lies are addictive. They're entertaining. Thank you. Subscribe to the Thinker Salute. Subscribe to AXIOM TV if you aren't already a subscriber, because this is the people's channel. And as well as, this is one of the correct things to be addicted to, which is objective knowledge, nature's truth. Objective truth exists in every aspect of life. Biases must come down, and that is the reason why we created this channel and continue to do the work that we do, until one day you realize who is really serving your best interests. And that is our goal. That is our ambition. Also hit the bell icon so that you can receive future alerts of when we upload more content, more meaningful content for you to absorb. Like the video if you got some value to it. Share it if it's to your heart's desire, because as members of a social species, it is our duty, one of our innate duties is to help others, and sharing meaningful thought and knowledge is one of those things. Thank you.